Hey, Falcons fans! Listen, I got information right now that's about to make your jaw drop. And I'm not talking about some casual roster update or injury report nonsense. No. What I'm about to break down for you is the kind of intel that separates playoff contenders from pretenders. The kind of moves that define an entire season. We're talking about decisions happening right now in Flowery Branch. Behind closed doors. Front office moves that could either catapult us into Super Bowl conversations or leave us wondering what if for the next decade. And before you even think about clicking away, understand this: everything you thought you knew about our secondary situation, it's about to change. Dramatically. The breadcrumbs are everywhere, people. And if you know where to look, if you're paying attention to what's not being said in press conferences, what's happening in practice, the subtle shifts in defensive alignments, you can see it coming like a freight train. The Falcons are making moves. Big ones. Game-changing ones. The kind of moves that'll have the rest of the NFC South looking over their shoulders wondering what hit them. So here's what we're diving into today. The secondary crisis that's been keeping Raheem Morris up at night, the potential blockbuster trades that could reshape our defense, and why this bye week, right here, right now, might be the most critical 2 weeks of our entire season. Buckle up. This is about to get spicy. But before I reveal the names, the trades, and the explosive details that could change everything, I need you to do something. Right now. If you're truly bleeding red and black, if you want to be in the know before anyone else, smash that subscribe button like your playoff hopes depend on it. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single breaking update. And drop a comment telling me, what position should we target first? Because the fans who engage, you are the real ones. You are the community that makes this happen. Now let's get into this intel that's about to shake the entire NFC South. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The 800-pound gorilla that nobody wants to acknowledge but everybody can see. Our secondary has been, and I'm just gonna say it, problematic. We're sitting at 2-2 right now. That's not terrible, but it's not where we need to be. And the one thing standing between us and legitimate playoff contention? It's that defensive backfield, baby. And it's not even close. Week 4 against Washington? That was a wake-up call wrapped in a nightmare. D. Alford, veteran presence, supposed steady hand, got absolutely torched. 4 receptions on 5 targets. 2 penalties. And here's the kicker, a 29.3 coverage grade. Let me repeat that for the people in the back, 29.3. That's not just bad, that's historically, catastrophically, we need to have a serious conversation bad. Now, before everyone starts panicking, let me give you the context. We've got A.J. Terrell, our CB1, our shutdown corner, our defensive anchor, sitting on the sideline injured. Without him, it's like trying to win a street fight with one arm tied behind your back. You might survive, but you're definitely taking some serious hits in the process. Mike Hughes has stepped up as the incumbent CB1 in Terrell's absence, but inconsistency has been his middle name this season. Some plays he looks like a Pro Bowler. Other plays he looks like he's running in quicksand. That's not a knock on Hughes, he's doing his best, but he's not A.J. Terrell. Nobody on this roster is. And the rookies? Billy Bowman Jr. and Xavier Watts have shown flashes. Flashes. That beautiful moment of brilliance followed by 3 plays of "oh no, what are you doing?" They're developing, they're learning, they're getting better. But development takes time. And time is something we don't have right now. Here's the brutal truth that Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot have to face. We're in win-now mode. Kirk Cousins didn't come here to rebuild. Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts aren't getting any younger in their prime years. Drake London is ascending into stardom. This roster is loaded on offense. But if we can't stop anybody on defense, if quarterbacks are picking apart our secondary like it's a high school JV practice, then all that offensive firepower means nothing. The NFC South is wide open. Tampa Bay just pulled off a massive win in Seattle, showing they're for real. New Orleans is always dangerous when you least expect it. Carolina? Okay, we're probably fine there. But the point is, the division is there for the taking. The playoff spot is right there. But only if we can fix this secondary situation before it spirals completely out of control. All right, now we're getting to the good stuff. The names. The possibilities. The trade scenarios that could completely reshape our defense overnight. I've been doing my homework, talking to sources, connecting dots, and let me tell you, there are some fascinating options out there if Atlanta wants to get aggressive. Let's start with the division rival move that would absolutely stun the NFL, Alontae Taylor from the Saints. Can you imagine? Poaching a talented corner from New Orleans? The same Saints that have tortured us for years? Taylor's a 2022 second-round pick with versatility, toughness, and a physical style that fits perfectly with Raheem Morris' defensive scheme. Plus, New Orleans is shifting personnel, they're not contending this year, and they might be willing to deal. The rivalry angle alone makes this spicy, but the on-field fit? Chef's kiss. Then there's Kim Taylor-Britt from Cincinnati. This dude has been a full-time starter since 2022, playing at least 86% of defensive snaps every single season. That's durability, that's reliability, that's exactly what we need. The Bengals are in a weird spot with their cap situation and future contracts, and with Taylor-Britt's deal winding down, they might be facing a use-it-or-lose-it scenario. Atlanta could swoop in and capitalize on Cincinnati's indecision. Now, if you want to talk about dream scenarios, if you want to talk about making a splash, let's discuss Denzel Ward from Cleveland. Two-time Pro Bowler. Shutdown corner. Legitimate CB1 who would instantly, and I mean instantly, transform our secondary from liability to strength. Pair him with a healthy A.J. Terrell? That's a top 5 secondary in the NFL overnight. Now, the cost would be massive. The Browns would want premium draft capital, and Ward's contract is substantial. But sometimes you have to ask yourself, what's the cost of not making the move? What's the cost of watching our Super Bowl window close because we were too conservative? L'Jarius Sneed is another intriguing name. This guy was a baller in Kansas City, you know, that team that keeps winning Super Bowls. He took his talents to Tennessee, but the Titans are struggling hard right now. They're rebuilding, they're not competing, and Sneed might be available for the right price. He knows what championship football looks like. He knows what it takes to win when the lights are brightest. That experience and leadership would be invaluable for our young secondary. And finally, the low-cost gamble, Eric Stokes from the Raiders. Former first-round pick with speed, length, and upside. He's on a 1-year, $1.5 million deal, which means he's basically a rental with minimal risk. If it works out, fantastic depth piece and potential starter. If it doesn't, cut him loose with no long-term consequences. That's the kind of low-risk, high-reward move that smart front offices make. Each of these guys represents a different level of commitment, a different price tag, a different vision for how we fix this secondary. But here's what they all have in common, they're upgrades. Clear, obvious, measurable upgrades over what we're trotting out there right now. Here's where we are, Falcons Nation. Here's the real talk. We've got a loaded offense. We've got playmakers at every position. We've got a coaching staff that believes in this team. We've got a quarterback who's showing real promise. But we've also got a glaring weakness in the secondary that could derail this entire season if we don't address it. The front office is at a crossroads. Option A, trust the youth movement. Let Bowman and what's developed through mistakes. Hope that Terrell's return stabilizes everything. Cross your fingers and hope for the best. Option B, go shopping. Make a trade. Bring in a proven veteran who can contribute immediately. Show this roster that we're serious about winning now. I'm not going to sit here and tell you which path is right, because honestly, both have merit. But what I will tell you is this, the margin for error in the NFC is razor thin. Tampa Bay isn't going away. The Eagles and Cowboys in the East are loaded. The 49ers and Rams out west are always dangerous. If we want to compete for not just a playoff spot but a home playoff game, we can't afford to have a secondary that opposing quarterbacks are salivating to play against. The bye week is here. The trade deadline is approaching. The Bills are coming to town angry and motivated. And somewhere in Flowery Branch, Terry Fontenot is making phone calls and evaluating options. This is the moment. This is where seasons are defined. This is where championship teams separate themselves from the pack. Do we have the courage to make the big move? Do we have the conviction to go all in on this season? Or do we play it safe and hope everything works out? One thing I know for sure, these next few weeks are going to be fascinating to watch. Whether it's a blockbuster trade, a youth movement that clicks, or a combination of both, something has got to give. The secondary situation will be resolved one way or another. The only question is, which path will we choose? Stay locked in, Falcons Nation. Keep your eyes on the transaction wire. Follow every press conference. Because I'm telling you right now, we're on the verge of something big. This bye week isn't just a break. It's the calm before the storm. And when that storm hits, it's going to be electric. Rise up. Let's get it.